Hello, hello. Oh, hang on. Why is this echoing? Ooh, hang on. I can hear myself through the microphone. That's weird. Um, I need to check that real quick. Let me see here. My apologies, everybody. I thought the sound settings were all good because it was working. But anyways, let me see here. It's like reverberating back through my what the heck? It's reverberating through OBS, which is going to get really odd trying to hear myself. So anybody, yeah, hearing myself makes it hard. I'm trying to see here, desktop audio device. There's a way, I know there's a setting. I'm just going to mute my speakers for this. And we're just going to have to roll with it here. Let me see, NVIDIA broadcast. I was running this on there. So anyways, everybody, welcome to the Ask Tim. We don't have one. Didn't have one yesterday because we were on the road. We are back now. Man, my white, I just realized that. Look at, so I took all the panels down back here because they kept falling off, and now my white balance is a little messed up. Oh no. That's not good. Let's see. Is this better through NVIDIA's thing? Of course, of course. Everything's got to just not work correctly today. Come back, and things are not working right. Go figure. But anyways, everybody, welcome to the Ask Tim stream. Can I help you? So let me, as promised, let me introduce you guys to Remo. This is our newest addition to the family, and he is 8 weeks old today. He has a lot to say. And this is a boy. This is Clara's friend. He's very whiny. He's a German Shepherd. That's what they do. They're very whiny. So hopefully he'll quiet down and he'll just sleep in my lap. Can we not? Hey. Shh. Yeah, so he's gonna be in my office. You can see his little pen behind me. I cleaned up. So we got him from the same breeder that we got Clara from. And we met up with them in Tennessee. So we spent the weekend there with him and his wife and their kids. And we got Remo. So he actually went for his 8-month checkup today. And so did Clara. Clara went for her 2-year checkup. And they're getting along great. I just have him in here because this is gonna be my buddy. So, but I'm gonna let him just lay here and be a sleepy puppy so he doesn't interrupt the stream. We'll see. He's been doing pretty good. We haven't, knock on wood, we haven't had an accident in the house yet. I've been staying on top of that. So if you guys are aware, some of you guys are, some of you aren't. If you caught my little random like at night one, I now have it so the cube comes on automatically during any time we're streaming. I did that with Home Assistant and an Easy Plug and some plugins. And if you do exclamation point cube, if Nightbot's listening, is Nightbot listening? Is it cube or change cube? Oh man, I can't remember. I think it was exclamation point cube. Yeah, it should be exclamation point cube. It should change the thing unless the cooldown is like taking effect. It's done through Nightbot. Yeah, I saw it work earlier. I don't know why Nightbot isn't listening. Nightbot commands custom. So anyways, the cube will be on through all streams now. It's automatically doing that. I'm just checking here. Yeah, the minimum cooldown time is 5 seconds, so that should be, let me see. Let me reload Nightbot here. Yeah, it worked earlier. But anyways, yeah, it's just exclamation point cube. So let's get into this. Let's enough chatting. Maybe Nightbot will decide to start working later. Who knows? But I did set all that up. Yeah, it should still work in Discord too. If you type !cube in Discord in the live streams channel, it should fire that event, assuming that everything is working correctly, which we all know that could be something else. Let me see, !cube in the live streams here. Okay, Nightbot. Okay, so it is working. You can see there. It's just not working on YouTube for some reason. But anyways, so let's go through here and pop the chat out and see what questions we got for today. I will keep this going. We're gonna keep this going for the hour time. If he decides he has to use the bathroom, little Remo here. If he decides to use the bathroom, I'll have to put a stream on pause and then come back. So I don't want to mess in my office. But I was playing with him before the stream, so he should be pretty well tuckered out. So anyways, let's see here. What questions? Oh, Julio's saying, sup people, love German Shepherds. I have a German Shepherd, can't wait to meet Remo. I love German Shepherds, they're great dogs. He's very smart already. Our vet took one look at him and was like, he's going to be a monster. Like in terms of how big he's going to get. So it's exciting. Let's see here. Let's see. Questions. Where are we going? Tim, TJ Dorman is asking, is the Ender 6, which is what's sitting right here, worth getting? Creality has a cover for it up on their VIP mall. Interesting. So like a top cover to fully enclose it. I'll have to check that out. I go away for a couple days and things just change. I don't know if it's worth getting it. I haven't spent enough time with it. It is here. I just got back today. I was off yesterday, but as promised, we are working on this machine this week. So that's what I'll be working on today and for most of the week. So I can't really comment on if it is. I think it's a decent build for the price, but I can't be like, oh yeah, print's great, because I haven't printed on it yet. I want to get some more modifications done to it and get rid of the screen. So, but I will update you guys when we have more time on it. I have to check out that cover because I would like to have it enclosed. That would be really nice. Let's see here. That guy Garrett is saying, I'm having trouble with my Series 10S with a V6 while printing PETG. The temperature will go to 240C, stay there for a while, and then fluctuate a lot, resulting in thermal runaway. Any idea? So you're saying 240C and stay there for a while. So are you saying that if you just apply power to the printer, it automatically goes up to 240C? Or you're saying that you tell it to go to 240C and then it fluctuates? If you can definitely give me some more information, I can give you more details on it. How's that? Let's see here. I'm waiting for a response there, Dat Guy. While I'm waiting for Dat Guy to get back to me, I'm going to move to Elliot Cutright's one. He said, I installed EasyBoard. My extruder is making some grinding noises. As suggested, support suggests I enable stealth chop, which I have not done yet. What kind of noise should I expect versus add normal? It really depends on what your perception is. I would describe it as kind of like a scratchy noise, like I can't even do it. I can't even do the noise. But it's just kind of a high-pitched noise as it's moving. You'll hear like kind of a squeaky, scratchy noise. That's normal. It's just you're going to be in spread cycle mode by default. That's what Trinamic recommends. You can try to run stealth chop and see if that gets rid of it, but then you could also lose steps. So you can do that. There's a document in the FAQ there's a document called the EasyBoard FAQ in our help center that goes over like the noise coming from the extruder. It's more pronounced on 12-volt machines, I've noticed. Just the difference between the voltage and the selection of the motors and the drivers. I do notice it's not as loud on the 24 volts, but you can try enabling stealth chop. I don't recommend you run stealth chop on your extruder motor because you can get lost steps. The reality is your printer is going to make noise. It's a machine. They're not, it's not a it's not a household item. They're machines. They're going to make noise, and when you start making changes like to make fans quieter, which you're cutting down airflow, you're making changes to make your drivers run in a quieter mode, you're cutting down torque. The reality is you just have to accept that your printer is going to make some noise. That's just how it is. So you can try to do things to mitigate that and lower the noise, but you might end up creating problems depending on what you do, which could be an even bigger issue. So I'm trying to do my little plug buttons for Stream Deck for the giveaway, but it's not posting. I guess like I went away for a couple days and things are just not working correctly, which is really weird. Let me see if I can re-authenticate this here. Will that work? Let's see. Giveaway, did that work? I pressed the button. I know it takes a second. There we go. It works. So, oh, Doug is watching. Where's Doug? I'll bring the dog up in a sec. Once he starts getting squirmy, I'll bring him up. We got 45 minutes to get through. So, yeah, it's just how it is. It doesn't bother me. Looks like the cube change is working. Is the cube change working? Yes, it is. Let's see here. Let's move on. Or I want to see. I thought I saw that guy. He said, I give it to a command to go to 240C. After 20 minutes, it'll give an error. Both printing and when I do it manually. So I'm assuming if you're talking about idling or printing. Now, here's the thing. If that was my machine, I would check and see if it's related to when your layer fan turns on. A lot of people, especially if you don't have a silicone sock, when you turn your layer fan on, what happens is that the air going on the heater block causes it to drop and it triggers thermal runaway. If you keep having issues with it, I would check all your wiring, put a multimeter on the two connectors for the thermistor, like 2 wires. Usually there's a 2-pin plug. Put your multimeter on the end of that, and then move your wires around while you're reading the resistance and see if the resistance changes or it goes open while you're moving those wires around while you have the probe leads on the plug itself. If the resistance is changing, that indicates that you have a break somewhere in the line, and you need to isolate that and fix it. What I'll usually do if I have a break somewhere in the line, I'll pull the whole line out, the 2 wires, pull them out, run new ones just so I know that I've replaced everything. One other thing you can do too is just do a visual inspection and see if you notice anything out of the ordinary, like if you notice burn marks on the thermistor legs, or if it's touching the heater block, that kind of stuff. Worst case scenario, you just replace the heater cartridge and the thermistor and all the wires, and that should fix it as long as there's no other issues with the printer. So, but it's triggering for a reason. It's not going to trigger just for fun. It's triggering because there's something wrong with the machine that needs to be fixed. It could even be a loose plug too. Try just reseating your thermistor line and retightening down your heater lines. So let's see here. Andrew Humphrey, has anyone encountered DPT videos? Oh boy, we'll save that rant that's a late night stream question. We want to keep this safe for work. William said he installed your LCD on the Under 5 Plus 4, and now the BL Touch does not work right. Well, I'd love to help you out, but you got to give me details on what doesn't work right means. Anybody who's asking a question, if you guys want help, and this also goes, and let's just go off on a little tangent here. Whenever people are posting in Discord or Facebook groups, or just contacting support in general, over communicate what you've done, what's happening, and what is not happening that you expect to happen. So that way people can actually, give you details on like how to fix it. Just saying, well, this doesn't work, doesn't give any information. You have to provide details on like, okay, well, I told it to home and the pin didn't deploy. That gives me more information. Or I told it to home and it probed once and it was fine, but on the second probe it failed and the nozzle went into the bed. Be detailed in your issue explanation, so that way, especially on here, like the Ask Tim stuff, the more details the better, because it gives me more information to try to infer what the issue is. But I see a lot in our Discord group where someone will come in and post, be like, I updated the firmware, now my printer's broken. That tells people nothing. It gives you nowhere to go on to troubleshoot. So You get what you get what you put in. So if you put a very vague answer out there, you're not really going to get much help. But if you put a detailed answer or a detailed question out there, people are more likely to help because they're giving you a lot more information to go off of, and someone might read and go, "Oh, I think I know what that is." So he says it goes to the center of the bed and starts leveling there. It never goes to the front. So here's the thing. You should be running a G28 and then a G29, and this is assuming your firmware set up correctly. So in that firmware with that LCD screen upgrade, we've already pre-set up all the offsets. So the thing is you have to have your starting code set up correctly. So you can actually use the Easy ABL starting code that's in the Help Center, copy that and replace your starting code with that code in your slicer, and then see if that works. It sounds like it could just be a starting code issue. So you have to have the G28 followed by the G29. The G28 tells it to home, it'll home X, it'll home X, it'll home Y, and then it'll home Z. So it'll go to the center of the bed and probe. Now, another thing too, if you read the directions on all of our firmware, we say after you flash the firmware, you have to reset the EEPROM. So if you don't reset the EEPROM, you're going to have settings that could be lingering in there that will make things run incorrectly. So before you do what I would say, go to your slicer, update the starting code with the Easy ABL one from our Help Center, and then also reset the EEPROM on the printer. That will give you kind of a fresh start, because if there are weird settings in the EEPROM that were stored because you failed to reset it, that's going to wipe it out and give you a fresh start. So doing a reset EEPROM is a really good thing. My leg is asleep, but the dog's also asleep, and I don't want to move it, but my whole foot is now tingly. I'm going to see if I can... Boy. I'm sorry, buddy. My leg is asleep. All right, we'll just put him right there. Let's see. Oh man, I need to readjust. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm sorry. Here's the puppy for those who are asking. Here he is. That puppy breath. It smells terrible. Can you tell we are tired? We played before the stream, so we are tired. He's so cute. Anyways, so yeah, check your starting code, reset your EEPROM. That might be all you need to do. If not, the Discord is really good. Let's see here. What's the next question here? Richard Sharps, he's got a German Shepherd that's 140 pounds. Damn. That's all I can say. Damn, that's a big boy. Or girl. I don't know. If it's 140 pounds, I'm more inclined to say it's probably a boy. But let's see here. Matt is asking, question about the Mosfets you sell. 2 JST headers, bed-CTL and S-GND. You have a video that covers the bed-CTL header. What is the S-GND header used for? That's a good question. So it's CTL, not CTN. That's why I was correcting it when I was reading it. So the B-CTL is a 12 to 24 volt input. So if your printer board already has a MOSFET on it and you're taking the load off of that, you use that header. Now, if you're driving that MOSFET from an I/O pin, like a 3.3 volt I/O pin or a 5 volt I/O pin, that's when you use the S and GND header. And the S is the I/O pin connection. That's S for signal, and GND is ground. So you can drive that directly from an I/O pin, even if your board doesn't have a MOSFET on it. That's what I did on the Anycubic Mega 0V1. I went right from the signal pin to the right from the signal pin to the S pin, and then ground to ground. So that's basically what it is. So it's a high level input versus a logic level input. So logic level being 3.3 to 5 volts, depending on what your board is running, and then the higher level input, which would be if you're using a smaller MOSFET to drive the larger MOSFET. So, and as far as I know, the polarity input, the polarity is sensitive on the S GND input, but there is a full bridge rectifier on the BCTL input, so it doesn't matter which way you connect it. You can plug it in. I always plug it in, and I'm double checking here because that one does have it. I'm trying to see what like pinout we have, because I think I do recommend people like put it on, but it doesn't matter. It's got a little rectifier on there, so yeah. That's it. It's nice. So you can just put 12 to 24 volt in, make sure you set the jumper, and you're good. I will actually pull up that so I can show people in chat what we're talking about. And these are good low cost MOSFETs. They get the job done. I'll tell you what. Let's see here, main monitor. Yeah, so on the MOSFETs here, you can see we got these two inputs. So you got the B-CTL and the S and GND. So if you're using this one, you put your positive, negative into here. This is not polarity sensitive. And then this jumper here is for 12 to 24 volt input. Now, if you're going to an I/O pin, this pin right here is the signal, the one here on the left where it says S, and this is your ground. So you can see a little, the little tiny full bridge there, right there in the underneath the corner of the heatsink. So there we go. You can see BCTL and SGND. Though there's a little rectifier, so it doesn't matter what polarity you put it into. So, yeah. And if we go here, here's the Help Center article, and then we've got an install video, and then here's the layout. And like I said, this connection between here is not polarity sensitive. This one is the power input is polarity sensitive, but the hotbed connection is not either. So you can see here we've labeled it here, but it's really simple to use. It's a universal part. It works with any 12 to 24 volt printer. If you have an AC bed, you're going to want to use the SSR is what you'll want to use. So, let's see here. Let's go back to the questions. Why are you groaning? Your life is perfect. He just was like, I don't know if you guys could hear him. Michael Mearsman says, I have a monoprice Select Plus. Why do some printers require bootloader and others do not? If I upgrade and use a bootloader, do I have to use it every time I want to upgrade? So it depends. The answer is it depends on what the manufacturer specs out. If they just don't put a bootloader on there, it's not going to have it. I don't know why. I think if people are selling printer boards, they should come with a bootloader. As we know, some of the early Creality ones don't. But one of the things is once a bootloader is burned, is a term, to the processor, you don't have to do it. It's a one and done thing. So the only time you'll need to reload the bootloader is if it gets corrupted, maybe you had a bad flash or something. But you just do it once and then you can flash over USB to your heart's content unless something goes wacky. But yeah. Let's see here. Michael Hudson here. Thanks for the profile for the Chitu or the Cocoa Weebooks. Yeah. Michael's playing with the chocolate printer. If you guys remember that, we still have it. We just haven't had too much use out of it because we haven't had a reason to. But I sent him my Simplify 3D profile for it. Let's see. Scott is asking, I'm working on building the Prusa V2 LAC enclosure using my Ender 3. I mean, I read about moving the power supply out of the enclosure, but should I try to move the electronics too? It's never a bad idea to remove the electronics. Highly recommend moving the power supply out. But yeah, you can definitely move them all. I don't. We have 12 Ender 3 ABS machines in our print farm. We did move the PSU out, but we left the main board in there. Knock on wood, we haven't had any issues with the extra heat for the main board, and those are using the old 8-bit main boards. So, they do pretty good. Let's see here. Andrew Humphrey's asking, should I disable Stealth Chop on my CR6 SE extruder, not stock, a Dies Design extruder? Yeah, you should always have Stealth Chop disabled on your E. If you want the most consistency, you should have it disabled on E. You can have it enabled on X, Y, and Z, but you should have it disabled on E every single time. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Chat jumped. Hang on. I'm going back up. Someone test and see if the cube command works. It's just !cube. I think it's working now. I think Nightbot woke up. But you'll see it just changes the design. It cycles through the pattern. Let's see. Nemo says, I wonder when Travis is going to get here and go nuts over Remo. Travis? That name sounds familiar. William says he's the one with the Ender 5 Plus and the BL Touch. He said it goes to the center bed. Oh, wait. It goes to the center of bed and starts leveling there. It never goes to the front of the bed. Yeah, it sounds like your starting code's messed up. Because if you only have a G28, it's it's just going to home. It's not going to actually try to level it. A G29 will then tell it to generate the mesh. So, that guy Garrett said, could it be the power supply also something to do with it? Maybe the power supply is getting too hot. He the hot an issue. Probably not. It sounds like something with the, sounds like something with like either wiring or you have a defective thermistor that's going out. Let's see. Julio Reyes is saying, are you swapping the PSU for the Ender 6 or keeping the stock or maybe a Meanwheel? I'm kind of a toss-up right now. I'm going to leave it on the stock one for a little bit, do some load testing on it, see if it makes any funny smells. But in general, we typically swap our power supplies to the Meanwells, and the LRS 350-24, which is what we carry in our shop, that will be a direct replacement for this printer here. So the Ender 6 does not come with a Meanwheel. So everybody's like, oh my God, puppy. Samantha took Remo to the vet today, and even the people at the vet she said the lady at the front desk was like, I'll take him if you want. Because she also had Claire with her for their checkup. And she's like, I'm gonna go socialize him and take him in the back if that's okay. And she's like, okay. And then she said, you just heard everybody going, oh my God, it's a puppy. So he had a busy day today. He did very well at the vet. Yeah, William, there's more details there. He said it goes to center bed, then back to home, not moving to any other corner. Yeah, the Jeet sounds like it sounds like your starting code's messed up. Or here's the thing too, you might also have the firmware set up wrong. I would go back through, make sure you're using the latest firmware. That printer does have, the Ender 5 Plus does have support for Unified 2. So make sure you're using Unified 2, reset your EEPROMs, that kind of stuff. So, Wally is asking, applying the vision monitor with the supplied brush seems to put it on too thick and leaves a coating on the part. I wonder how you apply it. I use their brush, and if I can't find the brush, I actually use these a lot. I use these for cleaning my electronics, but they're nice for applying it. These Kimtech wipes. These are very inexpensive, and they don't leave a lot of residue behind, which is why I use them for electronic stuff. But I usually use their brush. You just got to go fast, and I apply it with the bed not heated, so you get a little more time to thin it out, so to speak. Nemo Griff is asking, are there any disadvantages with using a Y cable for a second Z stepper? Not at all. Just bump your voltage reference up, your VREF, a little bit. So if you're on a manual adjustment board, then turn the potentiometer so it raises it. Sometimes it's clockwise, sometimes it's counterclockwise. You only need a tiny bit. Just bump it up like 0.2, 0.3 volts just to give it a little extra torque. But if you're using something like the Easy Board where the firmware controls it, you can just bump it up. Derek is asking, question, are the Easy Board's MOSFETs rated high enough to power a Gulf Coast Robotics 200-watt silicone heated bed pad? They should be. The MOSFETs themselves are rated up to 50 amps on our Easy Board for the hot end and the bed. But the terminals themselves are only rated up to 12 for the hot end and the bed. The main power input terminal, I believe that's a 20 amp one, but the board's also fused at 15. So we overspec on the MOSFETs just so they run cooler and they last longer. So we're not just pushing them at their limits. But the 200 watt, that might be okay. If that's a 200 watt 24 volt, you're probably fine. If that's a 200 watt 12 volt, you might still be fine. Let me double check. Let me run some calculations. Let's see here. So we got 12 volts, 200 watts. That's going to give us 16 amps of current. 16.6 amps. So yeah, that's not going to work because you're going to blow the main fuse. However, if we do 24 volts at 200 watts, we're going to have much lower amperage, which will put us at, let me see, hang on. I fat fingered a key here. That's going to put us at 8.33 amps for 24 volts. So that'll be fine if it's 24. If it's 12 volt, you're going to be pushing it. And I would run an external MOSFET. Just because the MOSFET can handle it, I wouldn't recommend running it that much through those terminals because those Phoenix contacts are rated up to 12 if I recall correctly. I know Griffin, who's our engineer, is in chat, so he could probably clarify. But if I recall correctly, our main input terminal is like 20, and the auxiliary ones for like the bed and the hot end, I believe those are 12 is the highest rating on those. So let's see what other questions we have. All right, we jumped again. We're talking about the Mosfets. It's DeWitt Tim, aka the other Tim. All my Ender 3 V2 printers have 422 boards. Is it worth to purchase the 427? Put them in there. Not having issues yet. No. The Ender 3 V2 comes with a 422 with the Trinamic 2208. You are literally going to get no benefit going to them. Wait till they die, would be my opinion. My leg is asleep again, but I also don't want to disturb the puppy. His, like, tail is just, like, completely floppy. Hey, buddy. I hate to keep waking you up, but I'm gonna do it anyways. Let's see if I can do this. Let's see if I can we get away with this? Will this work? Because then my legs won't fall asleep. Let's try this. Let's see if I can pull this off. So anyways, let's scroll through chat here. I'm looking through chat for questions because we still got 30 minutes left. And he's being very good right now. Let's see here. Any disadvantages or advantages to disabling Stealth Chop on all motors? You get a little more torque, but you're not going to really gain anything, so to speak. I run Stealth Chop on X, Y, and Z, and then E I disabled it. So, let's see here. I'm looking for more questions. Yeah, Matt Modib. Enabling hybrid thresholds so drivers can switch between Stealth Chop and or Spread Cycle on demand is the best of both worlds. Yes. If you have a board like our Easy board, where the drivers are controlled by the firmware on the printer, you can actually set what's called a hybrid threshold, where if you exceed a certain velocity, it'll actually, on the fly, switch the drivers into Spread Cycle mode to give it more torque so you don't lose steps. In my opinion, it's not really needed because Stealth Chop itself does do that, and it does switch in and out of the mode by itself, but you can have more control over it. But you can't do it on a board, let's say like the Creality 422 or 427 boards, or their 115 boards. They don't support it because those drivers are in what's called standalone mode. So let's see here. I'm looking here. Doug says, man, I want that dog. Come visit him. You don't live that far anymore. Remo, the name Remo is after my late grandfather. He loved dogs, and he was just a really good man. And I figured it'd be a good name for a dog. I know he would have loved to have a doggo named after him. So he was an old Italian guy. He was a great guy. Yeah, he's pretty asleep. Can you guys tell? He's such a ham. I hope he stays this cuddly when he gets bigger. Can you imagine having a 100-pound shepherd that like is this cuddly and just lets you do whatever? I'm just enjoying it. I'm just enjoying this. Jason Williams is asking, any plans for TH3D Ender 6 upgrades? Limited now on firmware. Yeah, we will be doing upgrades on there. That's why it's sitting to me, or sitting to the left here. So hopefully this little guy doesn't impact my productivity too much. Oh, I know, you sound like a little pig. Oh, there we go. No, you guys can ask about any kind of printer. Mark Lewis is asking, and we're running out of questions, so if you guys have questions, pop them in the chat about 3D printing, anything. I might set him down in a bit. Okay, go sleep in your bed. Here, come on. There you go. Go to bed. There you go. Hopefully he just plops down. You're fine. He's just sitting here looking at me. We're gonna lay down. Yep, there we go. Good boy. So anyways, um, so Mark Lewis said, I got Ender 3 V2 with the 422. Do you have a custom firmware with the BL Touch enabled? So our firmware, we do have firmware out for that, and it does have options for the BL Touch. So you just run through the configuration, uncomment your items. Would you guys think it'd be good for us to do kind of like a quick or an easy tip video? We call them easy tip. Like just kind of going over and covering the basics of the firmware, like explaining some settings. I was thinking more of a higher level overview just because the firmware can change at such a rapid pace. The video could just be like bleh and not, what's it called? And not like be relevant anymore. But if I focus on more of the basic stuff and settings I know will never go away, I feel like that can be helpful for people to get kind of a higher level overview on what they do. But yeah, if you go to it's our help center, which is support.th3dstudio.com. There's firmware downloads in there in the download section. You can also just go to firmware.th3dstudio.com, and that will take you right to the firmware download section of the help center. So we have everything centralized in the help center. Downloads, STL files, troubleshooting guides, just guides on 3D printing in general. We have more than just product information in our help center. So it's a pretty good resource, and we're moving towards adding more and more documentation to it every single day, because I don't want it to just be a repository for our products, but also just a general repository where people can go to find information on 3D printing and troubleshooting stuff, kind of like this channel. We actually link back now that we have our new help center running on the WordPress platform. I'm actually able to add a video as an article, which then links out to the video. So I've been adding links to our videos here as well, so they're searchable. So, Darren Watts, I have a question for you. I kickstarted sponsoring a new 3D printer. It's from Tronxy. Oh no. Oh no. Kickstarter and Tronxy in the same sentence? Oh no. Oh no. Get a refund. Tronxy is terrible. I'm just like, I don't know if this is your first time here. I don't recognize the name. I don't sugarcoat stuff. Tronxy is a terrible company for 3D printers. They don't stand behind their products. They violate GPL licenses. There's really nothing going for them. Their build quality is terrible. Their violations of the GPL license are terrible. There's literally nothing special they bring to the table. They're one of the companies that you should just stay away from. I don't even know how they're still around. I have no idea. No idea how they're still around, but they're not a good company. Their printers are subpar. Their support is non-existent, and just on principle, I will not purchase them anymore because they refuse to comply with the GPL licensing. So, yeah, sorry to just drop that out there, but I never had a good experience with Tronxy. They always need a ton of work, and if you need help from their support, whether it's replacement parts or troubleshooting, you're SOL. Doug said if I visit that dog, I'm taking it. You're not taking my baby. Look at how cute he is. He's being so good. Let's see here, Tim. My LCD upgrade I'll get it right, I promise. My LCD upgrade seems to skip when turning the encoder knob. It makes it difficult to choose options sometimes if I'm going too fast. Is it normal, the LCD? Yeah, you cannot just crank it like this. You got to kind of just go slow, just like, I don't know. Do I have oh wait, hang on. There's a screen in here. Well, hang on. It's hooked up to a board. Like, you want to turn it like this. Like, this is the max speed you want to go on these type of screens. You don't want to go like this. Like, you're going to skip because it's setting pulses every time you do this. So if you go too fast like this versus this, like this is usually what I do is like this. That's the fastest I go. These are very basic, these little encoders. So every time you turn this, it sends a pulse. Turn it, sends a pulse. So if you go too fast, it just becomes a convoluted mess and sends a bunch of pulses, and the board freaks out and it doesn't know what you want to do. So, the only other thing I have to say, if you're not turning it super fast, swap the LCD out. or even just clean it, maybe blow it out. Maybe you got some dust in there and it's just causing it to not register. I haven't had too many of these encoders go out on me. I think I've had like 2 out of like over 100 that I've dealt with have problems. They're usually pretty simple. So, let's see here. Scott Hepburn, any ideas if I need a different Easy ABL Pro mount for a Microswift hot end and direct drive kit, other than the one that I use for the stock setup? Oh no, here comes the yawning. Although I was up really early. This dog got me up at 3 a.m. and then I got up at like 6:30, which is way early for me. You guys know I'm a night person. Well, you regulars know I'm a night person. This dog is making me a morning person. So, oh, speaking of which, those of you guys know that watch the channel, you know it's in my glass. But those of you guys that don't, I'm going to plug them here because I got some awesome news. So I've been drinking this stuff for about 3 or 4 months now. This has replaced G Fuel and energy drinks for me. Sugar-free, really good. It's like $34 for this. There's 60 servings in here. And I got a message from them the other day that apparently people buying, like we have an affiliate link down in the video description below. So if you're thinking about trying it, go ahead and click that link. But when you click that link, use the code EASY for 10% off. So we now have our own Maw Energy discount code because we're actually one of their top affiliates apparently. I buy this stuff and drink it myself. So just like the products we sell here on our site, if we don't use them, I'm not going to sell them. This stuff is great. It's less to store. It's good tasting and it's not gritty. So I know we have people, in the chat that have bought it and like it. I love this stuff. So, and they've got, hang on, let's just to prove to you. And I bought these. They actually did not send me any for free. I'm missing one. Which one am I missing? I got the melon, Rip Harambe, Jungleberry, Blue Buzz, the apple. Oh, it's right here. Hang on. Yes, hashtag ad. I love this stuff, and it's extra money that we can use to buy stuff for doing cool videos. So, like the Nanoleaf project, I'm taking the money from the affiliate stuff to buy the electronics for the Nanoleaf project. So, there we go. I've got all their flavors. Most of them are opened. But yeah, if you guys want some good caffeine, I really like it. They also have a free trial. They also have a monthly subscription. And I don't think I get a commission on the subscription, but I don't care. It's really good stuff. So if you're like me and you just love caffeine and you like G Fuel or you just want to stop buying case energy drinks, highly recommend you check out Moss. So there's a link in the video description below for Maw Energy. Make sure you use the code EASYENERGY, and that's 10% off, and then it also helps the channel. So I thought that was cool. I got to pick my own discount code, so I made it Easy Energy. But I digress. Let's see here. But Scott, back to your question about the hot end mount. As far as I know, the Microswiss direct drive kit for those should use the same bolt hole patterns as the stock carriage. So meaning if you have like the OEM mount on your printer, it should be the same bolt hole pattern. Because as far as I know, you take that shroud off of the back plate, like the X carriage, and bolt it onto the new Microswiss setup. And the screw holes are the same. So as far as I know, use the same setup one. Yeah. But let's see here. Yes, Vert, it does have energy. It does have caffeine in it. I live off of caffeine. It's how I get stuff done. Let's see. We've got vitamin C, 100 milligrams, 5 milligrams B6, 200 micrograms of B12, and then 140 milligrams of caffeine, tyrosine. I always screw this one up. It's not theanine, theanine, xanthine, and licum berry. So it's not jittery, but I don't care. It works, and it's cheaper than buying Monsters all the time. I know Doug, Mr. Waffle. I know you spend a lot of money on energy drinks. Are you guys having fun changing the cube? Let's see. Where are the other questions here? Yeah, he's still tired. If I don't get a gram, if Bert don't get his gram of caffeine, 7 cases of Red Bull. Dear God, I'm not a huge fan of Red Bull, to be honest. I'll drink it, but I'm not a huge fan of Red Bull. Let's see, where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at? Okay, we're talking about the Easy ABL Pro mount on Micro Swiss. The thing is, probably not going to have to change it. As far as I know, they use the same one. Someone's asking about a company is legit. Never heard of them. I just Googled it. It looks pretty sketch. Never heard of them. Like their branding looks like they just kind of slap some stuff together real quick here, real quick once. Um, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm just searching right now. Just searching right now. Yeah, never heard of them. They have a Facebook page and an outlook.com address. Yeah. That's a little sus. Not gonna lie. Anyways, we'll go back on topic here. Let's see. Do. I'm looking. Samster199 is asking, did you try that MKS E3P board? I have not. I was away Friday through Monday, picking up this little guy. Where is it? Right there. That little guy who's sleeping now. I didn't think I was going to be able to get through the stream with him. I thought he was going to freak out, but I guess I tired him out enough. Clara's funny with him. She wants to play with him, but she realizes how tiny she is, so she has to like kind of throttle back. But they're funny to play with each other. Daryl says, I have one more question for you. I have a Corelli CR6 SE. I was going to ask you, do they have a direct drive yet for that particular printer? I don't think so. I don't think they do. Yeah, I don't think they do. As far as I know, that's going to be a more complicated printer. This is why I don't like machines that use like those big plugs, like all the connectors on one plug. Yeah, it's easy to connect, but in terms of making upgrades, it makes it a lot more complicated. So most people that know what they're doing will steer clear of printers that have that stuff because one, they're harder to repair, and two, they're just easier to break, and then you can't get the parts easily. If they're using a proprietary connector, they're not gonna work correctly. So, or they're not gonna be able to. Sorry, I was like split attention here. Stuff with proprietary connectors are harder to repair because you have to then go through the manufacturer. I prefer to just have wires going from my hot end assembly to my board because you can always replace wires. You can always solder wires. You can always, crimp and splice and replace easily. Whereas if you have a proprietary plug or even a Molex plug, it makes repairs a lot harder. Yeah. Yeah, I to be completely honest with you guys, I consider the CR6 for people who want to modify the printer, it's dead on its ass. It's a decent printer aside from, the switches catching on fire and then the boards catching on fire and Corelli not replacing any of those for their customers. Well, aside from the fires, as is out of the box, it's a decent machine. But in terms of the people like me and you guys who you're watching, I'm assuming if you guys are watching, you probably like modifying your printers. You probably like upgrading them. That's not a printer that you do that to. And, there's a lot of printers out there that you can't really modify because of the choices the manufacturer made. The reason the Ender 3, the reason the CR10, the reason those machines are so popular is because they aren't super proprietary. They are more of an open platform that you can mod and build and change to your heart's content. The CR6 took all of that and made it for people that want a printer but don't want to really mess with a printer, which is fine. But now you have a proprietary board in there that's not a standard board, and the boards are catching on fire. And then the only replacement board out there is, again, the OEM one that catches on fire, or the Big Tree Tech one that has its whole other set of issues. I was talking to a couple people that have the Big Tree Tech ones for the CR6 because Big Tree Tech actually made a drop-in board for the CR6, and those have tons of problems. So you basically have a printer that is really hard to modify, it's hard to upgrade, and it's hard to get reliable parts for. As far as I'm concerned, don't buy a CR6. There's so many better printers out there for the money. Um, it's just not worth it, in my opinion. There's so many other better machines out there that were done better, that have more companies making mods, making replacement parts for them, and just the ability to easily change things. So Julio Reyes is asking, EasyBoards didn't last on your site since you restocked. It's a good thing. How long before you usually restock? Well, as of last week, the beginning of last week, it was 3 weeks. So we should be about 2 weeks out. We should have more EasyBoards in about 2 weeks. As for the EasyBoard Pro, we're working on software right now. So that I don't have an ETA on the EasyBoard Pro. The Pro, just in case anybody's wondering, so we have the EasyBoard Lite and we have the EasyBoard Pro that's in production, or not production, in development. The EasyBoard Pro is going to be the Lite, but have some more extra features on it and dual extruder support. So if you are doing only single color, single extruder, the EasyBoard Lite, which is what we have in the market now, is what you're going to want. If you want dual color or just an extra stepper driver, extra hot end output, the EasyBoard Pro will be what will target that market, which is a very small segment of the market, but we're still going to come out with them. We're just working on the firmware right now, working on the bootloader, that kind of stuff. So, but we're getting really close on that. In terms of actually how long till, like, let's say we had all the software done and we have all the testing done, I don't have an ETA, because it could be, we could have all our stuff, lined up and correctly done, and then we run into supply issues. So we're having a really hard time finding the processors for the EasyBoards right now, just because NXP is having a hard time supplying them, which sucks, which is slowing down production. Yeah. So anyways, let's see here. Yeah, Andrew's talking about the CR6. I've seen a lot of mods, but nothing commercial because of the bed-loving strain gauge mount. Yeah. It's a neat idea, but it does limit what you can do to the printer because you can't really modify it that much. You have to retain that mount. It makes designing an aftermarket mount for better cooling a lot more difficult. So, Vertobis points out the breakout boards on extruder heads tend to break from movement also. Yes, that's another thing. I don't like breakout boards on extruder heads. G-Tech does that. Corelli did on the CR6 SE. Big Tree Tech's doing that with HDMI cables, because we know how great HDMI cables are good at holding up to repetitive back and forth motion. Spoiler alert, they're not. They're not designed for that application, but that's not stopping China from using them. So stay away from those. Another one I think Big Tree Tech's doing also is USB-C on a moving head. Also not a great idea. Can we just stop putting connectors on the heads and just run wires? Anytime you add a connector of any kind, you're adding one more point of failure to the printer. And I do not have any faith that these Chinese companies are using any high quality connectors on those. So we're adding one more point of failure, and they're usually poor quality. So yeah, it's rough. So what's it called? Cooper Paxima, what do you think about the Big Tree Tech board for Ender 3 Pro? Well, if you don't mind replacing a board every 3 months and dealing with crazy design flaws like temperatures not reading correctly and having absolutely no support, they're a great bang for the buck. But by the time you replace the Big Tree Tech boards 2, 3, 4 times, you could have bought an easy board and just not have to be swapping your board out all the time. And you actually get technical support with the easy board. So I've seen a lot of people where they're on their second or third Big Tree Tech board because, one, Big Tree Tech won't warranty it, and two, they die. So, like, not trying to, like, obviously they're a competitor of ours, but the bottom line is the easy board comes with tech support, and the build quality is you're comparing a Ford Pinto to, I don't know, Lamborghini. Not just on price, but the actual build quality of it to what you get. I don't think our board's that expensive. It's what is it, 119 bucks. They're out of stock right now. So if you guys do want an easy board, you can hit add to a wish list and you'll get emailed. But 119 bucks gets you a 6-month warranty from a US company that actually will get back to you. Our average response time during our business hours is less than 24 hours. And we warranty the board for 6 months. Big Tree Tech is, you'll get a response maybe. If you go through their Facebook groups, you see people posting, I haven't got a response in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. We test every single board before it gets sent out here. They're all tested. They're all flashed. We test all the motors. We test all the heaters. So our defect rate is less than 1% on them because they're all fully tested before they leave here. We put them under load. Yeah, it costs money to do all that. And then if you have questions, you can also email our tech support or use our live chat system, and we'll actually get back to you in a very reasonable amount of time. If you use the live chat system, we get back to you instantly. So the Easy Board warranty is worldwide. So we do handle things slightly different. Like, let's say you have a failed board and you're international. We'll usually work out something else so you don't have to send it back to us. But yeah, no, we have a 6-month warranty. The warranty starts from the date of delivery, not from the date of your order. So, but yeah, 6 months. 6 months covers warranty on the product and technical support. So how it works with all of our stuff, if you guys have a product that has tech support like our Easy Pi kits, our Easy ABL, the Easy Board, you get technical support through the duration of the warranty coverage. And even if you're outside of that, you can always send us a quick message. Those tickets do get kind of deprioritized. But we also have the communities. So the reason we set up the communities is so people can get help with all their stuff, whether they have support coverage or not. So we have the Discord server, we have our Facebook group, our MeWe group. So yeah, like Vert says, in general, what you get what you pay for. Yeah. So, I mean, there's some people I know that have the Big Tree Tech boards and, you know, they got really lucky. But if you look, I stopped doing technical analysis of their boards because I got tired of their user base complaining whenever I found a problem. So I just stopped finding problems. But the funny thing is now there's other people that are finding problems, and they're riling up their user base because they don't like when people point out that, hey, there's a design flaw with this. So I just thought my time would be better spent not giving them free engineering advice. So there's every single version of the Big Tree Tech SKR E3 boards. Every single one has had major issues. There was the latest ones, I think it was the 1.2 and the 2.0. They're what's it called? The temperatures are all over the place because how they tied the voltage reference. So they're all over the place, and you can't fix that with software. It's a hardware problem. Another person just posted that they found out that a bunch of batches of the SKR 1.3, 1.4, and 1.4 turbo all had 1K resistors installed when they should have had 10K resistors. And I'm pretty sure I have one of those boards because I could not get a BL Touch or our Easy ABL to trigger reliably on that end stop port because it had the wrong pull-up resistor on it. So, I mean, that's the kind of consistency you get from Big Tree Tech. It's all over the place. The consistency you get with our boards is we don't cut corners. We don't change suppliers to save a couple pennies. We stick with the same suppliers. We don't sub parts out. So whatever we spec out is what goes on the board. We're not going to be like, oh, for this batch, we're going to save like 5 cents a board and go with this other resistor company. Well, maybe the tolerances are worse. Maybe they're just poorer quality. And you start stacking tolerances and then you get a board that just doesn't, it's not reliable. So anyways, I'm not out to sell thousands of boards. If we sell a couple hundred a month, I'm happy. I'd rather put out something that's more expensive that works and is reliable and repeatable than try to flood the market with cheap boards. So China can play that game all they want. I'm not going to play that game. So, but let's see here. Cooper is asking, what's the process of installing the Easy ABL? So you can look at the manual right now. If you want, it's Easy ABL. I'm going to double check that this works. Easy ABL guide.th3dstudio.com. Yes, that goes there. So basically a very, very high level overview. You mount the probe on your printer. So you print a mount, put the probe on there, you run your wires, you disconnect the wires or the plug from your ZN stop. That then plugs into the Easy ABL control board. You give it power, whether that's wiring it to your printer's power supply, or you can also power it from a USB adapter or a wall plug-in adapter. So we have multiple ways to power it. I directly wire mine to the power supply. We include wire at no charge to wire to the power supply. So once it's physically installed, mounted on the printer, you got your Z-stop plugged into the EasyABL control board, you got your power run, you update your firmware, and you update your slicer settings. And before you actually print, you need to calibrate the sensor as well. But all these steps are outlined, and I'll show this because I actually think this is a lot nicer. We used to have a PDF guide. And a lot of people were complaining about the PDF guide, and I do agree with them. We have our new help center here. It gives us a lot more flexibility. The biggest thing is table of contents. So this seems like a lot, but I have very granularly broken everything out. So there's, all these steps. It's not that long, but we basically converted the PDF guide and did some updates to the guide to make it an actual thing. And you can still print it. If you want to print it, you want to have an offline copy, you can save it as a PDF, but our help center supports printing out the article. So I do know you have to change a setting. I think background graphics, which one? Yeah, I think that's what you check. Is that it? Oh no. There's a way for it to print the graphics. I don't know why it's being weird. It's probably just Edge. That's what I get for using Edge. But anyways, you walk through here. It's step by step. It takes you through, and you can see here the table of contents is updating as we're going here. So, I'm wondering if it's, you see how the image, I forgot we have lazy loading on the site. Maybe I'll turn that off for the help center, because I'm wondering if now it will actually print. I'm glad I checked that. Was that it? Was it the lazy load? Was it the lazy load? It was the lazy load. Okay, I'll have to disable that. But you can print it out, print to a PDF if you want to. But anyways, you can just go through and jump to a setting. Here's setting your Z offset. We've got it for Unified 2, Unified 1, fine-tuning your offset, updating your slicer, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there's just other tips and tricks here. So we broke this out into a article instead of having a PDF, so you can actually jump through and navigate pretty easily. So I'm not going to dunk on Microsoft Edge too much, because now it's running Chromium, so it's basically Google Chrome. So there's that. But we are past the hour mark, and we did start on time. Is he still asleep? He is passed out. So I'm going to go ahead and reload the giveaway form. We're going to plug it one more time here. So anyways, I appreciate everybody that stopped by. We kind of went off on a tangent there, but I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. There will be one tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central Time. So make sure you guys check that out. We do these streams every Monday and Wednesday at 2 p.m. Central Time. The only reason we're doing a stream today instead of Monday is I was out of town on the road back from Tennessee from picking up the pup on Monday, so I moved it back to Tuesday. So anyways, we will have a stream again tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Time. It'll be an Ask Tim, and then we'll go back to our normal schedule. If you guys do have questions that weren't answered here, head over to our Discord server at discord.th3dstudio.com, and that's available all the time. We have tons of people in there that are very enthusiastic about helping other people. So I'm going to plug our Discord server here. I'm typing the URL in the chat. I hang out in there from time to time too. We've got a lot of active people in there, so if you want to help people out, you want to hang out, meet some new friends, get help with your printer, if there's questions that I haven't answered, go ahead and head over there. So it's a really good place to hang out. So with that, I'm going to wrap this stream up. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys have an awesome day, and as always, happy printing. I'm going to go take the little guy out now and wake him up from his nap. So take it easy, everybody, and I'll see you again tomorrow at 2 o'clock Central.